को Siraj Zaidi का बहुत-बहुत आदाब, namaskar and good afternoon. You're very welcome to the program. You're listening to Apna radio broadcasting at 93.9 Dublin South FM. Every Thursday from 3 to 4, I'm here with you and you shall be with me until the 4 o'clock as well. And that's my promise to you and your promise to me. And that's how we have survived over the years, listening to each other's, talking to each other's and doing what is important for humans to do. Exchanging information, exchanging news and views and current affairs and global situation of the world. Like every year, we do have a review of what's going on in our world. And every week, we actually do follow the situation, what's going on in the world as well. And who is the better person just to tell me what is going on in the world is our own Charmaine Colvin. Charmaine, take it away, the news at the program, and there you go.
Good afternoon. I'm Charmaine Colvin, and here is your weekly news update on Apna Radio 93.9 Dublin South FM. Prominent opposition leader and Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has resigned from his post, only days after getting bail in a corruption case. The Delhi leader spent 5 months in jail relating to a now-scrapped alcohol sales policy. He has denied all allegations against him and has accused the BJP of using investigating agencies to unjustly target opposition leaders. An anti-corruption campaigner, Kejriwal was the third AAP leader to be arrested over alleged irregularities concerning the alcohol policy, which was introduced by AAP in 2021 in a bid to curb black market sales, increase revenues and ensure even distribution of liquor licences. Kejriwal announced his intention to resign, saying he would sit on the Chief Minister's chair only if the people of Delhi gave him a certificate of honesty. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's BJP has called the resignation a publicity stunt to galvanise public sympathy. Kejriwal's colleague and senior Delhi minister Atishi will replace him as the leader of the government, the party announced on Tuesday. Last week, the Indian government announced that Russia had discharged dozens of the 91 Indians who were duped into fighting for Russian forces in the country's war with Ukraine. Several of them have now returned home, while the process to bring the others back to safety is underway. Many of the men are from poor families and were lured by agents with the promise of money and jobs, sometimes as helpers in the Russian army. 9 Indians have died in the conflict so far, and Indian authorities say they have arrested 19 people for human trafficking. Most of the recruits were blue-collar workers aged between 19 and 35 and were hired by agents based in India, Dubai and Russia. Families of the men have appealed to the Indian government for help in bringing them back. Voters have been queuing outside polling stations in India's Jammu and Kashmir this week to vote in the first provincial election being held in a decade in the Himalayan region that has grappled with years of militant violence. The 9 million registered voters are choosing members for the region's 90-seat legislature in the 3-phase election. Votes will be counted on October the 8th, with the results expected the same day. Jammu and Kashmir is India's only Muslim-majority territory and has been the centre of a dispute with neighbouring Pakistan since 1947. India and Pakistan both claim Kashmir in full, but rule it in part, after having fought 2 of their 3 wars over the region. Former US President Donald Trump has said that India was a very big abuser of the US-India trade relationship and that he will meet with India Prime Minister Modi next week, although no details of where this will take place have been released. The Republican candidate for the November presidential election enjoyed warm relations with Modi while in office, calling Modi fantastic. When Trump visited India in 2020, Modi held a huge rally for him that also marked the opening of the world's largest cricket stadium. US President Joe Biden will host a summit with leaders from Australia, India and Japan this week in Delaware. Analysts say Washington has increasingly seen New Delhi as a counter to China's rising influence in Asia. The Indian state of West Bengal has agreed to remove the police chief of its capital, Kolkata, following a meeting with doctors protesting the rape and murder of their colleague. 2 other senior officials, the Director of Medical Education and the Director of Health Services, will also be removed, Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee said. Thousands of junior doctors in the state have been on strike since the 9th of August, when the body of the 31-year-old woman was found at the state-run hospital where she worked. The crime sparked nationwide outrage and concerns about the safety of health workers in India. And finally, the International Cricket Council has announced record prize money of more than $6 million for next month's Women's T20 World Cup. The figure of $6.04 million is more than double the prize money for the previous tournament in 2023. The winners will take away $1.8 million, a 134% increase on the money received by 2023 champions Australia, who have won 6 of the 8 Women's T20 World Cups. The last edition of the tournament was held in South Africa in February 2023, when Australia won their 6th title with a 19-run victory over the hosts. India received $1.8 million for winning the Men's T20 World Cup in June. And that's all from me. Tune in next week for more news on Apna Radio 93.9 Dublin South FM.
Now, that was terrific news from Charmaine, explaining what's going on in the world. And what's going on, the election and in Kashmir, particularly in Kashmir, which really caught my eyes because this is something really interests me because it's something very controversial and, how the election commission and election will be held and it will be monitored and it will be regularized and all that because it's a disputed territory. But since the removal of the Section 3, whatever the section was, 310 or something, there's a couple of special privilege which has been given to the Jammu and Kashmir, 310 actually it was, and that's been is going to be removed, and it has been removed. So there is no more privileges to it. But let's see if Farooq Abdullah, Omar Abdullah, they contest the election and who had been there ruling there for years and years and years will go back again. So that's what it is. We'll see how that pans out on the 8th of October, which is officially is the closing day of a day before actually 6th of October is the closing day of the 15th Indian Film Festival of Ireland that has been going on, will be going on from 3rd of October till the 6th of October. And I'll be talking about that quite a lot again today in the program. But before that, I will be taking a little sort of like giving you a touch of what we've been talking about in the last few weeks. The health and wealth of the individual. The health, is, of course, is something that you work at it. You do the workout and all that. They say that the only workout is a bad workout, which you don't do it. So there you go. You must do at least 20 minutes to half an hour workout every day, if not more, if not 45 minutes or an hour. Ideally an hour if you can. Your weight will be under control. You'll be losing weight and keep an eye on what you take into your body. So all of that is very important, but that belongs to your health. But what about the financial wealth? Well, there you go. Sit back, relax, and listen to them.
If health is wealth, the health of your wealth is equally important. Hello, we are Financial Sketchers, a global wealth advisory firm. We are a team of 30-plus experienced professionals, serving over 1,200 high-net worth families, corporate entities and NRIs across 15 countries, transacting 100 crore rupees annually. We work from 4 offices in India, in addition to presence in UK, UAE, Kenya, Singapore, and Hong Kong. And we are happy to meet each client in person, anywhere across the globe. We specialize in wealth creation, passive income, retirement planning, legacy planning, and risk management solutions. And we promise you, whatever be your financial goal, we will secure them for you. Be it building personal wealth, family wedding expenses, higher education for your children, living a rich retirement lifestyle, leaving a huge legacy, or any other dreams you may carry. Financial Sketchers is there to help you fulfill it. Let's build wealth responsibly.
Thank you, Mr. Zaidi. Good to be here again. I thought I will do a few episodes about the real enemies of India, but then the list keeps growing, and each of them are sounding to be more dangerous than the previous one. So thank you for continuing this series, and I hope my dear friends also are able to comprehend the gravity of each of these enemies as we continue to discuss them. Dear friends, thank you for tuning in and appreciate your feedbacks. There are few more enemies of India suggested by you, and certainly in due course of time, we are going to talk extensively about each one of them, each one of your suggestions. So thank you. Today, we are going to discuss the latest identified real enemy of India. And according to me, it's a silent killer that is going to threaten our future in next 10 to 20 years. To understand this threat, let's look at examples from around the world where countries are already grappling with this issue. India is no stranger to this problem, but then recent events have made it more imminent. So this month, a significant development happened, and this means that this real enemy will soon infiltrate our streets and markets and will walk around freely. So we begin with our journey to Kenya, and Kenya being the third world country in East Africa, it is striving to escape poverty, and like India had been under colonial rule. So traditionally it's a farming nation, not much in terms of farming success, but then Kenya had relied on indigenous crops and seeds. However, in 2012, under the influence of large corporations, the Kenyan Parliament enacted the Seed and Plant Varieties Act. So this law actually prohibits farmers from sharing and exchanging these indigenous seeds. And if they want to do so, they have to have it registered. Also, the farmers are forced to buy seeds from the corporations. So the law also aims to protect the individual property rights of these corporations with severe penalties in case there is violation, and it also includes imprisonment and hefty fines. So that's to protect the corporations. But then if you argue, the law serves corporate interest at the expense of small farmers. On the other side, the Kenyan government has failed to protect the indigenous seed ownership and the traditional farming knowledge, and that has further marginalized the local farmers. As a result, a significant reduction in traditional agricultural activities is seen, and an increase in the cost of farming, which is further leading to higher food price inflation, and it is already an impoverished country. The other side is that the government of Kenya has taken no step to protect the intellectual property rights, if that's the concept, to protect the copyright or the intellectual property rights of those indigenous seeds. So it has to be two-way, and there is an imbalance. A similar story about Senegal, where the farmers have historically cultivated wide variety of groundnut seeds, which is well suited to the local soil and the climate conditions. So despite their resilience, these crops are disappearing due to government and international policies, and those policies are actually favoring an exotic and high-yielding crop promoted by these corporations, the agro-tech corporations. So these new crops, instead of growing in a dry, of less water environment, so these new crops require more water, and therefore it is altering the country's social and the dietary legacies, and of course would be threatening the biodiversity. The economic stress on the farmers is mounting because these large corporations are pushing for these specialized production methods and the seeds and the expensive pesticides, and they are doing so because the high yield due to these seeds will help them dominate the global market. So in return, Senegal's traditional crops are being systematically sacrificed. We are seeing reflection of something like this in India too. But then one more example. Mexico, we see another battleground between the farmers and the government and the large corporations. Of lately, Mexico is phasing out glyphosate herbicides, which is basically used in genetically modified corn cultivation. And that's because the Mexicans have recognized the health risk and the environmental damage the genetically modified crops have caused to the country. So the government of Mexico aims to protect Mexico's indigenous corn varieties and also to promote safe and healthy food. However, according to the news report, corporations which are responsible for these GMO, genetically modified organisms, these corporations like Bayer, Monsanto and Dow have launched numerous lawsuits against the Mexican government to overturn this law. Now we know that this GM crop and the attached pesticide, this forms a powerful cartel and it is aiming to control the global agriculture production. We also have numerous scientific studies that show that the GM crops and the associated pesticides that has caused significant health problems for people, for animals, and for the biodiversity and environment in general. So for instance, there's a study from National Institute of Health, and that indicates that the GM food causes, or rather may cause, toxic effects such as liver, pancreas, kidneys, and reproductive issues, and may alter hematological, biochemical, and immunological parameters. So in simple language, it will affect our blood composition, hormonal composition, imbalances, and our human body's strength to fight viruses and bacteria. So that's the danger the GM crops have on the wider population of a country. One more case back home in India. And here I'm trying to draw a parallel by recalling a case of PepsiCo India versus farmers in Gujarat. So when farmers grew and sold a potato aloo variety provided by PepsiCo India, the company claimed exclusive rights to the seeds, and they then sued the farmers for intellectual property violations. How weird is that? So the massive protest happened across the state, and then PepsiCo India was forced to withdraw the lawsuit. But the incident highlights the vulnerability of the Indian farmers to corporate exploitation and the facilitating role of the government in bringing those corporates into the agriculture business of India. So the question then, I would say, is that why is the Indian government allowing foreign corporations to impose the restrictive intellectual property laws on our Indian farmers? How can the Indian government let these rights dictate what food India grows and consumes? And with the current situation, it indicates that India is losing the battle of agriculture, agro-industrial battle. So India is already trying to develop GM for 13 crops like rice, wheat, and sugarcane. And already BT cotton, which is a genetically modified crop, is being commercially cultivated, and mustard is being added very recently to the approved list. But then the activists have said that GM mustard would require widespread use of pesticides, herbicides, and they possess a threat to the honeybees. So while the mustard fields, the yellow fields, will have a bumper crop, it is going to destroy the biodiversity and would harm the honeybees in India. While our country continues to be divided and engaged in Hindu-Muslim superiority battles, this Modi government has slipped a potentially dangerous proposal. Here it is. In the 2024 budget, the current government has approved 109 varieties of so-called climate-resistant crops, which is a rebranding or marketing ploy of genetically modified crops. And this is according to the Brunel University research paper. This policy was quietly slipped into the budget and there was little public awareness. Till today, I'm yet to see a national debate about this genetically modified crops being approved. And these crops actually are going to threaten the soil health of the country, the food security. These crops also require specific pesticides and herbicides, and this is going to increase the farming cost and the food inflation. Moreover, these crops pose serious health risk, as I just suggested, and it had been demonstrated by multiple scientific studies. We do have a referential experience from countries like Mexico, Senegal, and Kenya. Now, here comes the surprise. According to Reuters, the current government has warned administrative procedures against any former or current officials speaking against genetically modified mustard. So now this is an authoritarian behavior by the government, a dictatorial behavior by the government, where people are the employees, the government officials are not allowed to express their opinion about the development of genetically modified mustard. European Union is still not allowed the genetically modified crops in any country, in any member country of the European Union. On the other hand, we see that despite resistance from the European Union and other nations, India has allowed these crops to enter the market. Now in India, the implications are going to be dire with rising cancer rates, and though the booming economy would then be centered on cancer treatment. The number of cancer patients in India is rising. It's rising exponentially. And therefore, it's a grim indicator of misplaced priorities, even though may contribute to the GDP growth of the country, but then the business of treating cancer will contribute to that GDP. And that is going to be a very, very sad thing. So dear friends, I would like to say that the recent budget decision imposes a great threat to India by approving 109 varieties of climate-resistant genetically modified crops and plants. The corporate interests are driving the Indian agricultural policy, and this is going to have consequential effects on the population, 1.4 billion health of the Indians. So the gravity of the situation needs to be recognized, and therefore important steps needs to be taken. The gravity of the situation needs to be understood, and at least we should start talking about defending our Annapurna and the future health of the country. Thank you for your kind attention. Dear friends, stay tuned with our next discussion on another pressing issue facing India, another real enemy of India. Bye for now.
Dublin South FM. You wouldn't buy a car without knowing its history. So why would you buy a story without knowing who's telling it? Come here and I tell you. It's not always easy to verify what you see, read, or hear. But now there's help. Visit www.bemediasmart.ie. Stop, think, check. Be Media Smart. Brought to you by Media Literacy Ireland, supported by RTE.
93.9 Dublin South FM.
Indeed, this is the Dublin South FM 93.9, and you're listening to Siraj until 4 o'clock. What a news and what a shocking revelation that Sharad has put together about the GM crops, and 190 crops have been approved by the current government and all that. And that's the consequential results of that would be a direct health on the nation and the people's rising, because they are genetically modified. I mean, this Monsanto and all that, we have covered that in a previous program as well, that how other countries, but vis-a-vis the Americans, have tried to actually control the agriculture and agri part of India for years, which is basically an agriculture country, basically, you know. And the effect of that can be detrimental on people's health. The cancer rate is rising. How can we control that? And this is something concerning. Everybody has to be seriously concerned about that. But what can you do when you have a political upheaval People have been removed, as Charmaine has mentioned, about the Arvind Kejriwal to be removed from the opposition and all that. But that's politics, and it's happening in India constantly, as long as somebody at the top will remain at the top, and that's how the world's politics remains. BJP, Modi ji is doing a lot of good things, but at the same time, not a lot of right thing, what I would say. And therefore, the questions are rising worldwide about that. We've been covering all sorts of stories, from students to, genetically modified crops, and the state of affair of the nation is not as healthy as it sounds from the distance, because obviously day-to-day living of people who are bogged down into their situations, who are literally, just struggling to get by, and just they're not concerned about the bigger issue. What goes behind the curtains, behind the scene, is another world, another story. One thing, I will come back to it, but because everybody is concerned about what's going on in their lives, and right now I'm concerned about what's going on in my life, and that's very much the 15th Indian Film Festival of Ireland. So we're kicking in on the 3rd of October at the UCD Cinema, as been told at our website. So please do log into iffi.ie, and you'll see my clip there at the beginning of on the homepage. I'm introducing and I'm telling where the festival is happening and all the rest of it. The big news and the addendum news is that we have now selected as a final screening of a movie on the 6th of October, which is Sunday, 11 o'clock. And that's happening here in Dundrum. Yes, I moved to the venue, 2 venues this year. Very courageous, very bold a step. First time the festival is carrying the 2 venues, in fact. First bulk of this festival will take place in the UCD Cinema from 3rd of October to the 6th of October. But only once off screening, because it has been, came to my attention recently by no other than the Marwa Studio, Film City in Noida. And Mr. Sandeep Marwa called me up the other day and he said, have a look at this film called Maha Mahim Didiji. Now, Maha Mahim is the word for president. Didiji is a sister that's been called in India for any respectable ladies. So if you are calling Maha Mahim Didiji, who is that? That's the President of India. So President of India is an amazing character which has been lifted up from Rajasthan, small village from Rajasthan, and she's been serving for humanity for years selflessly. Very poor, small village, raised in a, very sort of underprivileged society, underprivileged family of farmers, and then went to the village school, and from there she's shown a bright sign of, in her caliber and all that, and from there she progressed and become the President of India. So that is the biopic, and that's happening at 11 o'clock in the Dundrum Cinema on the closing day, which is on the 6th of October, followed by the small reception, a lunch reception in the foyer of Cinema 12, our usual spot of the festival, which used to be our case for years and years and years. So we're returning back to close the festival. Do take care, notice of that. We will be going there to close the festival. Sandeep Marwa will be here as well. He's traveling from India with the producer, B.K. Prabha ji. And B.K. Prabha ji is also very much a delectable producer of this film, who's coming with Sandeep Marwa to present this film. And I hope to have at least half the cinema, if not full, will be filled with the audience who has been... We will be announcing that throughout the festival about this addendum screening, the extra screening that we have added on Now, after that, we have straight go back to the UCD cinema, and we have 2 films to play there. Short films called Yan. The director Satish Sharma will be here. And then after that, Ada Kohinoor will be the final closing film at the UCD cinema. So with Uma Magal, and Uma was here in the program and talking about in that Q&A and all that. So this is the schedule shaping up for the final 6th of October. And that is the end of the program and the end of the festival. So from 3rd of October till the 6th of October, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Check it out, the schedule, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, at our website, www.iffi.ie. So that's it. That's festival. And of course, the 4th of October is the gala night, our most attractive, most glamorous, most standardized glamour to add it on to the festival is where the awards will be given to all these visiting guests from India, and we shall be honoring them with the special award for the festival. And that's the promise, because that's the festival do. How can we forget Denzel Foundation, the charity partner, the official charity partner, and its founding CEO and founding chairperson, Shakeba Omar, who has also been in the festival, mingling and jostling with people and things like that. So and she will be awarded an award for a delectable charity, what she's running, NGO called Denzel Foundation. Again, you can check it out on their website, on our website, www.denzelfoundation.ie. .com, beg your pardon. But if you go on our website, www.iffi.ie, you'll find that and the charity page on the gala night. So that is all what's happening on the 4th of, and of course the musical. How can I forget the musical and the culture night? Because that's going to be fantastic this year. We have a special singers coming over from London, Asif Raza and his company. And he will be singing a most haunting, qawwalis and all the Sufi songs by Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan and most of the other, delectable singers. Plus, of course, we have Bharatnatyam, we have Kathak, we have traditional songs. And of course, how can I forget the local talent of Dr. Das, who will be performing one song, and also the local Desi Vibes, who will be giving tribute to Kishore Kumar, because they are very well received. So all in all, and of course, the khana, the dinner, will be the most attractive aspect of the gala night, all for €25. I mean, insane, isn't it? Insane. Like 2 people having a coffee and a cake will fork out more than €25. But there you go. I'm a generous person. What can I say? So that's all happening on the 4th of October at 6 o'clock. So please, please, please book your ticket now. I cannot emphasize that. 50% of the tickets are already gone. So I don't want you to miss out on this extra special festival this year by having so many guests from India, so many, artists from London and all that. So it's going to be magical. That's all I can say. And that's what I aim for. I'm an entertainer. I'm a entertainment business to entertain people through my work. And I take it very, very seriously. I hope you take it seriously too when you enjoy yourself. And that's my bottom line, is to give you a good time. Once again, thank you very much for those who have supported me so far, our sponsors, our, advertisers and all that. And I'll be giving the details of that, such as Oscar Travel, such as Tilex, such as Maldron Hotel, such as Mini India. All of that has, and of course, how can I forget Mr. Chadda, Mr. Bikramjit Singh, and Dr. Kumar, who have supported, and of course, our own delectable partner and a solid supporter of the festival, Cleona Buckley. So without them, I cannot do it on my own. I mean, I'm just a little a guy who just put together the festival. Although hard work throughout the year, I keep at it, sewing together a little films, whether they're short films, whether they are feature films, whether they are documentaries, all of them are there. And I bring all of this wonderful cultural basket of an entertainment for you. See, it's not like one concert that is happening in town. By the way, it is happening in town, and we all will go and enjoy that concert of Shan on the 5th of the middle of the festival. And I will treat my guest to do that. So there you go. So this is what is happening. And the rest of the program will continue 4th, 5th, and 6th. And 6th, the DDG will be a major attraction for the festival. So that's one in a nutshell. And my time is now moving towards the songs. And today I have my friend Gulzar Sahab lined up, and I hope you will enjoy them, their Gulzar Sahab songs as well. So there you go. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this particular track.
से कोई शिकवा तो नहीं, शिकवा नहीं, शिकवा नहीं, शिकवा नहीं। तेरे बिना जिंदगी भी लेकिन लेकिन जिंदगी तो नहीं, जिंदगी नहीं, जिंदगी नहीं, जिंदगी नहीं। कह दो तो आज की रात चांद डूबेगा नहीं, रात को रोक लो। तुम जो कह दो तो आज की रात चांद डूबेगा नहीं, रात को रोक लो। बात है और जिंदगी बाकी तो नहीं, तेरे बिना जिंदगी से कोई शिकवा तो नहीं, शिकवा नहीं, शिकवा नहीं, शिकवा नहीं, तेरे बिना जिंदगी भी लेकिन जिंदगी तो नहीं, जिंदगी नहीं, जिंदगी नहीं, जिंदगी नहीं, तेरे बिना जिंदगी से शिकवा तो नहीं।
जी मेरे भाइयों, दिस इज गुलजार साहब, तेरे बिना जिंदगी से कोई शिकवा तो नहीं. I'm staying with Gulzar Sahab today because I haven't played his songs for too long. And today, obviously, this was a beautiful song. And I've selected few of them song. And next one is also a beautiful song, Tum Aa Gaye Ho, Noor Aa Gaya Hai. You know what, भाइयों, जब कोई किसी का इंतज़ार करता है बहुत लंबा और वो आ जाता है आपके सामने, आपसे उसकी मुलाकात हो जाती है, तो it seems like what I just said, that it's been longing to meet somebody, longing to see somebody, and if that person arrives and you see it, so it's like a light, noor, and that's what this song is all about. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this song.
तुम आ गए हो, नूर आ गया है, कहाँ से चले कहाँ के लिए ये खबर नहीं थी, मगर कोई भी सिरा जहाँ जा मिला वहीं तुम मिलोगे। हो कहाँ से चले कहाँ के लिए ये खबर नहीं थी, मगर कोई भी सिरा जहाँ जा मिला वहीं तुम मिलोगे। कि हम तक तुम्हारी दुआ आ रही थी, तुम आ गए हो, नूर आ गया है।
नहीं तो चरागों से ना जा रही थी, तुम आ गए हो, नूर आ गया। जहाँ से तुम्हारी सदा आ रही थी तुम आ गए हो नूर आ गया है नहीं तो चरागों से ना जा रही थी
जीने की तुमसे वजह मिल गई है बड़ी बेवजह जिंदगी जा रही थी तुम आ गए हो
नूर आ गया
Yeah, but that's what I was talking you. I was telling you about that somebody comes along and acknowledges each other, both a man and a woman. Their presence in each other's life is like a light. It's this explosion of light, and because they can really enjoy their life together. They can really be in the company of each other. They can celebrate, togetherness. And nothing like it, as I said, a togetherness of two people who could be, waiting for each other for so long to be with each other. Anyway, beautiful song. And what can I say about Gulzarji? Gulzar Sahab and me personally, we met in Mumbai at his house, Boskiana. Boskiana is a house named after his daughter, Boski. Now, the connection between Boski and him is very strange as well because, there's no time to discuss all of that. But all I can say is that he's been such a deep intellectual writer, songwriter, and he kindly presented a couple of books of his, the song books about his poetry, his shairi, and the book about his life, which was published by Nasreen Munni Kabir of Channel 4 in a talkative form because she having conversation with Gulzar Saab and all that. And he personally signed to me. I'm deeply honored to receive that book, and it still is in my bookshelves. That Gulzar Saab books are there. So a very humble gentleman came all the way outside the house to see me goodbye until I sit in my car and left the house. He offered me a sherbet, a soft drink, and all that. And I really deeply cherished that moment of in the company of a writer, in the company of a poet, and a company of a songwriter. First time I met Gulzar Sahab in Scotland, years and years ago, when he was attending a function, and I was there too, attending a function. So there you go. We had a relationship, we had a friendship, we have acquaintanceship, and that has been culminated in final meeting when I was in Mumbai a few years ago. A dear friend of mine took me to Gulzar Sahab, who has been working with him. Very down-to-earth gentleman. He is, as I said, thorough gentleman. That's all I can say. But rare breed, which no longer you will find in the film industry. But Gulzar Saab being a director, extremely good director, in fact, he directed. He started his career, in fact, assisting Bengali director, Bimal Roy, and also Satyajit Ray. So he worked in Calcutta as an assistant director. And then he learned his craft there. And then he came to Mumbai to work in the film industry and directed many powerful films, like Andhi, and of course, who can forget the television serial Mirza Ghalib with Nasiruddin Shah. That's his brainchild and his project, that loved by millions all over the world. So Gulzar Saab was also a very good director. And now his daughter, Meghna Gulzar, is also very good director. Meghna is also making films. I mean, recently she made a film called Sam Bahadur. Why am I telling all of that? Because he belonged to a true film family. Because his wife had been no other than the most attractive heroine of her time, Rakhi Gulzar. Rakhi ji was his wife, his first and only wife, in fact, that he married to. And then Rakhi ji developed cancer. But good news is that she survived and she lived beside him in a different house. But, and they have separate lives. And Gulzar Saab is still very much working as a songwriter, as a poet, and he appears in culture programs and things like that. So there you go. My salutation to Gulzar Saab and his work, an amazing work. I'm deeply honored and impressed to meet him personally and receive his wonderful books. Anyway, here's another song by Gulzar Saab that I would like to play before really the time is up, because a couple of songs that I would really like to play by Gulzar Saab.
हो सके तो इसमें जिंदगी बिता दो पल जो ये जाने वाला है ओ आने वाला पल जाने वाला है हो सके तो इसमें जिंदगी बिता दो पल जो ये जाने वाला है एक बार यूं मिली मासूम सी कली एक बार यूं मिली मासूम सी कली हो खिलते हुए कहा खुशबाश में चली देखा तो यही है ढूंढा तो नहीं है पल जो ये जाने वाला है ओ आने वाला पल जाने वाला है हो सके तो इसमें जिंदगी बिता दो पल जो ये जाने वाला है एक बार वक्त से लम्हा गिरा कहीं एक बार वक्त से लम्हा गिरा कहीं वहाँ दास्तां मिली लम्हा कहीं नहीं थोड़ा सा हंसा के थोड़ा सा रुला के पल ये भी जाने वाला है ओ आने वाला पल जाने वाला है हो सके तो इसमें जिंदगी बिता दो
आने वाला pal jaane wala hai. That's another philosophy, that time never stay for anyone. Whatever the time is going to come, it's going to go. And what has been with you will never come back. And that is something, vidambana is a Hindi word for. I like certain words which actually just come like this. Paradox is the word. Paradox, that a time which goes very quickly and never comes back. And whatever is coming to you will pass again, will go away as well. So that is what it is, and you can't help it, because that's the way the life is. That's the way time is, whoever invented time. And I wish that people could understand time a little bit better. But time is such a thing that nobody can control. Therefore, we have clocks. That's why we have dates. That's why we have events. And that's why we have life. And each day of your life is a precious time of your life. It doesn't matter what you do. We're trying to achieve something, too much, too little, working towards something. It's all in time. And if the time passes and you did not do what you're supposed to do, you'll regret in the future. So grabbing the moment, seizing the day, all of that concept is something that I've been very passionate about in my life, all my life, in fact, to say the least, that you have to do the utilization of time very effectively. That's all, folks. I do have to say goodbye to you because the time is, again, time is up. And a couple of minutes left, and I would like you to, another song. तुझसे नाराज नहीं जिंदगी. Well, I mean, जिंदगी से आप नाराज नहीं हो सकते. You can't be annoyed with life. But this is a beautiful song of Masoom, film Masoom, with directed by Shikha Kapoor and all that. Anyway, I'll be back same time, same place next week. And after that, I will not promise because I shall be in the middle of my film festival. But I'll do my best to come back. If not, then, of course, the program will be on. But next week, definitely I'm coming back to give you the final version of the 15th Indian Film Festival of Ireland. Those who have not booked the tickets, go on please at www.eventbrite.ie, see the Indian Film Festival of Ireland and book both the season ticket for the cinema and the ticket for the gala night. Those are the two most important things. As I said, the season ticket for all films is only €30. Each day is €10. And €30, you'll get all the tickets, 11 films. And then you can also buy €25 for these gala night ticket. Great. So that's it, sorted. And thank you very much those who have already bought it, because quite a substantial number of people have already bought the ticket. So there you go. Bye for now. I shall be back same time, same place. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this particular track.